patria Bolivia, una gran nación. Por ella doy mi vida, también mi corazón. Por ella doy mi vida, también mi corazón. La 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 la. La 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 la. Quiero a mi patria Bolivia como la quiero yo. I am not a singer, obviously, but I had to start off this episode with some orgullo because Bolivia is the country that birthed me. Hey, bienvenidos to episode 1 of This Latina Travels. Today we will be talking about my travels to Bolivia, the heart of South America. I was born in Cochabamba, Bolivia, but I was brought to the States when I was just 6 months old. So I didn't grow up in Bolivia, but Spanish was my first language, and we never stopped learning about our beautiful country, and best believe I grew up eating all the good Bolivian food. Kudos to mi mamá. My parents left Bolivia when they were young, 17 and 18 to be exact, in search of the fabled American dream. The first time we returned, the first time I traveled at all, was in 2001. I was 11 years old. Let that sink in. I was 11 years old. That means my parents came to the United States and didn't go back for 11 years. As a kid, I just remember my first trip to Bolivia being so long. I was that annoying kid that kept saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" But little did I know all the blood, sweat, and tears that led up to that moment. Now, as an adult, I can reflect on all the sacrifices both my parents made for me. From working 2 to 3 jobs at a time to be able to put food on the table, or learning a new language and having to adapt to a society that will never understand why you left home. But let's get into the good stuff. So disclaimer, even though I am from Bolivia, there is so much more I need to explore. I've only been to Bolivia 3 times, when I was 11, 15, and 22. The first 2 times I was a kid, so I literally was with my family the whole time, and from what I remember, we stayed in Cochabamba. Not that it was bad, but when you travel to see family, that is the sole purpose, especially in the Latino culture. But when I went during the summer of 2012, that time was a little different. Not only was I 22, but we had talked about exploring outside of Cochabamba with my uncle and aunts. So, first and foremost, Bolivia is a beautiful country, and I'm not just saying that because I was born there, but it's also one of the poorest countries in South America. Needless to say, be open-minded. For example, the current currency rate in Bolivia is about 7 Bolivianos to $1 American dollar. Let me put it in perspective. If you go to a mercado and are buying souvenirs that cost 15 Bolivianos, you're only spending about $2. Keep in mind that those $2 to $3 that you're trying to bargain could provide dinner for a whole family. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm all about a good bargain, but it's just something to keep in mind. As for taxis, well, that's another story. Always ask how much they're going to charge you beforehand. Don't get fooled like up in because trust me, some of those drivers like to bump up the prices when they know you're not a local. Before I get into my visit from 2012, let me start off by telling you the places and events that I have yet to visit. Number 1 on my bucket list is El Salar de Uyuni in Potosí. Uyuni is spelled Uyuni. These are the famous salt lakes that make you feel like you're standing in clouds. It's absolutely magical. And I'm saying that just from what I've seen in pictures, and friends and family who have been there all tell me it's just breathtaking. Google it. You won't be disappointed. Number 2 is El Carnaval de Oruro. Oruro is spelled Oururo, which happens between the months of February and March, depending on the calendar year. This year it happens to fall between February 6th through the 16th. But of course, due to COVID, all the festivities have been canceled. Number 3 is going on an adventure in El Chapari, the famous jungle of Bolivia. So there's definitely still lots that I need to explore in my home country. But if you travel to Cochabamba, here are some places that you must go. Number 1, take el teleférico or cable car up to El Cristo de Concordia, the Jesus Christ statue, over in San Pedro Hill to the east of Cochabamba. If you're trying to get your steps in, you can also climb 2,000 of them as an alternate route. Fun fact, did you know the Christ statue in Cochabamba is actually bigger than the one in Brazil? Number 2, Cochabamba is known to have the best food in the whole country, so take advantage and go to some of my favorite spots. El Palacio de Silpancho. Not only is silpancho my favorite Bolivian dish, but it is the most popular dish in Cochabamba. This dish contains a layer of white rice, fried slices of potatoes, a thin layer of breaded meat, and a delicious salad which is chopped tomatoes, onions, and carrots mixed together with olive oil, salt, and vinegar. Oh, and don't forget your fried eggs on top. Yep, this is a very filling meal. You must also head over to Calle San Martin and go to El Palacio de Api. Api is a hot, colorful, thick beverage. It's purple and white, and it's delicious. It's made from purple maize, cinnamon, water, and sugar. You can get it either really early in the mornings for breakfast or in the evenings like a late snack between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. And it goes really well with a pastel. To my Latinas from other countries, a pastel in Bolivia is a fried dough filled with mozzarella cheese and sprinkled with powdered sugar. Lastly, you must treat yourself to ice cream at one of the following restaurants: Dumbo, Globos, or Donald. It's more than just ice cream, it's an experience. I remember this was the place my cousins looked forward to the most every time we visited. There are tons of different flavors, unlike the ones we're used to here in the States. Their servings were also huge. One ice cream dish would come out with 10 different scoops. But what I remember the most from these visits is just watching everyone smile because we were able to share this moment together. Number 3, go to a football game. And no, not the kind that they have in the States. There's so much fun. Even if you don't like soccer, you will have a blast. Of course, when all this COVID shenanigans is over. Bolivians love their football, and Cochabambinos love Wilstermann. You can find games usually every Wednesday or Sunday of the week, and tickets range from $10 to $15 a person. I remember on Sundays outside the stadium, they would have all these cute little animals for sale. I think that is when I knew I would one day have a dog. Psh, look at me now. I have 2. Number 4, attend Las Fiestas de la Virgen de Urcupiña, an exciting annual celebration that goes from the 14th to the 21st of August in Cochabamba, and is filled with parades of many different dance groups that practice our famous cultural dances such as caporales, tincus, morenada, and diablada, to just name a few. The legend behind the festival tells of a poor shepherd girl who saw the Virgin Mary appear to her while flocking sheep upon a hillside near Quillacollo, a town outside of Cochabamba. The Virgin told the girl to gather stones from the hillside and return them home to her family. By the time the girl reached home, however, the stones had turned to silver, and the girl and her family were pulled out of poverty. When others asked for the whereabouts of the Virgin, the shepherd girl responded in the native language of Quechua, Urcupiña. She is already in the hill. What I remember the most from Las Fiestas de la Virgen de Urcupiña was all the street vendors, from the ones selling knickknacks to the ones selling those delicious rosquetes, a pastry that is shaped in a circle like a donut that is covered in white meringue. This festival is just filled with so much life. Now, a few things that aren't easily found online about Bolivia. If you're traveling from city to city, the most affordable way is through a bus. During my time in 2012, we did take buses to Sucre and La Paz from Cochabamba. If you can, the best bus line is called Bolivar, and I would recommend taking it at night since the travel time is about 6 to 8 hours. Now, I must tell you, when you travel on bus, these roads are very windy and scary, so if you get motion sickness, this may not be the best option for you. Transportation overall in Bolivia is really affordable. There are taxis, trufis, which are like minivans turned into public modes of transportation, and regular buses. These are different buses than the ones that travel from city to city, FYI. On average, if you travel by taxi, expect to pay anywhere between 10 to 20 bolivianos, which is an average of $2 approximately. Of course, if you're going far, the cost is going to be higher. As for the through fees and buses, it's usually 2 to 3 Bolivianos per person, which is like 30 cents in American money. I know, ridiculously cheap. Of course, taxis are the most quote unquote expensive and the safest, but just be mindful when you're on a bus or a through fee to have your belongings in front of you or in eyesight. Before I wrap it up, I do want to share about my brief experience in La Paz. Honestly, everyone needs to hike the Cerro El Calvario, a short but beautiful trail near La Paz. It will test you physically, but the view at the top is beautiful. It oversees the Lago Titicaca, which is one of the largest lakes in South America. And the thing I'll never forget while walking up El Calvario was the cholitas, or the indigenous women sprinting past me with a huge bag on their backs called kepis. These bags can be filled with daily merchandise they are selling, or day-to-day groceries, or even their child. But the fact that they were literally passing me like they weren't carrying anything absolutely blew my mind. Warning, the altitude in La Paz is something else. Now that you have a little taste of what my home country is about, I want to leave you with these takeaway points. 1. Never forget where you came from. 2. Reflect on the sacrifices that have been made by the people you love most. And 3. Age ain't nothing but a number, because clearly those cholitas could run circles around me when I was 22. With that, I leave you. Until next time, mi gente, don't forget to leave me a rating, a comment, but most importantly, subscribe and share this with a friend. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions via email at thislatinaTravels@gmail.com or my Instagram at thislatinaTravels. I hope you're ready for this journey because I sure can't wait to tell you more about why this Latina travels.